Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Good evening. This is the national news telecast of the prestigious channel of Sri Lanka. I'm Movin Hettiarachchi.
And I'm Sidhmi Jayaratna. Let's take a look at today's headlines.
Several hospital functions hampered due to the strike of the supplementary health employees. New Zealand Deputy Minister lauds the positive changes taking place in Sri Lanka. Election Commission informs that the names of the councillors elected in the local government elections are to be handed over to the returning officers before midnight of the 30th of this month. Cabinet spokesman states that the target of 3 million tourist arrivals could be achieved by the end of the year. Cabinet approves recruitments for 15,000 vacancies in government service. Senior citizen allowance for the month of May to be credited to their bank accounts tomorrow. An official of the Department of Immigration and Emigration remanded for aiding Helbadara Padme to get out of the country. Serious health and environmental threat due to the sunk ship in the southern Kerala Sea. Now those and more stories in detail. On today's top story, President Anurukumara Dissanayake yesterday met with Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs of New Zealand, Winston Peters. He is currently in the country on an official visit. The meeting was held at the Presidential Secretariat. Conveying the greetings on behalf of the government and the people of New Zealand, Deputy Prime Minister Peters congratulated the President Dissanayake on his victory in both the presidential and the general elections. He reaffirmed the long-standing friendship between the two nations and acknowledged the recent re-establishment of diplomatic relations. Deputy Prime Minister expressed the government of New Zealand's strong appreciation for the positive developments taking place in Sri Lanka. He acknowledged the significant steps taken by the new administration towards political stability, economic recovery and social progress, and commended the leadership of President Anurukumara Dissanayake in steering the country in the right direction. He further emphasized that the New Zealand recognizes Sri Lanka's current trajectory as promising and sustainable growth and long-term development. In this context, he announced that New Zealand government remains committed to deepening the financial support in the future. President Dissanayake noted the Deputy Prime Minister Peters' visit marks the beginning of a new chapter of Sri Lanka-New Zealand relations. Prime Minister Harini Amarasuriya met with Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs of New Zealand. The attention was directed towards several mutually important sectors, including technological cooperation, agriculture, promotion of female political participation, and cooperation in sports. It was discussed the ability to discuss new sports. The delegation then visited the Gangarama temple in Hunupitiya this morning and received the blessings.
Election Commission informs that the names of the elected representatives to local government bodies should be submitted to the relevant returning officers by midnight on May 30th. The relevant extraordinary Gazette notification in this regard was issued today by the Election Commission. The Gazette notification was issued only a few days ahead of the official commencement of the new term for local government institutions scheduled for June 2nd.
The General Manager of Railways, Dhammika Jayasundara, says that immediate steps will be taken to further improve the railway services while fulfilling all the existing vacancies in the department. He made these remarks while speaking at a media briefing held yesterday on the recent cancellation of train journeys. The railway manager, Dhammika Jayasundara, said that around 400 locomotive drivers are required to maintain the railway service, yet only 275 are in service. He said that recruitments have not been carried out by recent years due to the lack of approvals. He added that the final approval for the recruitment was received this March. With the approval received, the general managers indicated that over 600 applications have been received for the vacancies and relevant examinations for recruitment will be held in early July. He added that relevant process is underway for other grades as well. He added that 909 staff will be recruited this year and are expected to make around 3,000 promotions along the recruitments. He pointed out that existing locomotive drivers have to undertake train journeys if one of them takes leave, and it affects the entire service. He added that several train services had to be cancelled last Sunday as 20 drivers had taken leave. He said that an inquiry in this regard was underway and the necessary measures will be taken against those responsible. Supplementary medical professionals launched a strike this morning. Due to the strike, many patients who arrived in the main hospital in the country, including the National Hospital, the Colombo, to receive treatment, received severe difficulties. All Ceylon Medical Officers Forum has indicated the organization is not linked to this strike. The officials of the medical laboratory services and psychotherapists launched a strike action based on 5 demands, including salaries and promotions. Reports have indicated that laboratory services, including blood tests for the dengue patients, have been hindered due to the ongoing strike action. President of the All Ceylon Medical Forum, Dr. Rukshan Bellan, said that the strike action was not launched by doctors but certain sections which are essential for the medical services. He pointed out that they launched the strike action is politically motivated and requested not to create an environment to conduct any protests in front of the National Hospital with the support of trade unions. The Dr. Bellan said that this is a conspiracy which attempts to tarnish the image of the government. Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa said that the relevant recruitments cannot be carried out on the whims of the government. He said that the recruitment process is carried out on the mechanism prepared by the Administrative Services Commission. The minister said that medical laboratory technicians have not been recruited since 2023, while psychotherapists have not been recruited since 2020. He also added audiologists have not been recruited since 2014. However, the minister pointed out that measures have been taken to proceed with the recruitments under the existing mechanism. Cabinet spokesman Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa said that the target of 3 million tourist arrivals could be reached by the end of the year. In a cabinet briefing held today, the minister said that despite such a target, certain groups are conspiring to sabotage tourism industry. According to the cabinet spokesman, the tourism industry in our country has been experiencing significant growth. By the end of the year, it will reach a target of 3 million tourist arrivals. It is very important for the country's economy as well as the national image. On February 14, 2024, an incident occurred where the Veligam Province Division investigations are currently underway regarding what was expected or intended behind the incident that took place. Regarding the incident in Arukampe, the police have indicated a crackdown to identify who's behind these incidents. The investigation is looking into whether this was planned by a group targeting the tourism industry or a conspiracy to place blame. Several incidents have occurred within the short period and the governments do not consider them isolated incidents. Investigations are being carried out, all of them. Police launched a crackdown to determine whether these acts were planned or carried out by individuals or groups located in various areas with the intention of disrupting the tourism industry, or whether they were orchestrated by certain organizations. The main objective is to ensure that our country remains as a safe destination for tourists. Minister pointed out that maximum tributes were paid to the department Queen of Sri Lankan cinema Malini Fonseca by the government. Cabinet spokesman Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa said that rather than a full state sponsorship, the appropriate honours were accorded to the state ceremonial level. As a government, they were given the highest honours and that could be bestowed. The government recognised her immense contribution to Sri Lankan cinema, and she was someone who played a significant role in the advancement of the country's film industry. The best way to honour her is continuing the discussion about her service and contributing to the further development of the cinema industry. The minister also replied to several questions posed by media persons regarding the problems existing in the health sector. The spokesman said that due to the unauthorized constructions and especially incomplete buildings left abandoned amid economic crisis, millions of potential mosquito breeding grounds have emerged. Between May 19th and 24th, the Ministry of Health inspected 128,824 locations and suspected to be potential mosquito breeding sites. Of these, over 30,000 locations were identified as having high likelihood of mosquito breeding. Red notices were issued for 3,000 premises and legal actions have been initiated against 1,470 locations. The health authorities have not yet officially confirmed the chikungunya virus has reached a critical stage. The epidemiology unit of the Ministry of Health is expected to issue a statement within this in next few days. Meanwhile, there have been reports that COVID-19 cases are emerging from nearby countries and that they are currently monitoring this situation. A shortage of certain medicine exists in some hospitals. At the moment, it is fully unable to maintain an adequate buffer stock for all medication at the central medical stores. To maintain such a buffer stock, the procurement process would have to be initiated last year in order to ensure the supply for this year as well. The first 5 months of the last year, the country not only had about 64 types of medicine out of the 450 essential varieties. The Health Ministry held discussions with the leading pharmaceutical importers and issued them letters of credit to expedite the import of medicine into the country. They have requested either the import of required drugs immediately or to produce them locally and supply. The efforts are underway to intergovernmental relationships to ensure that these medicines are delivered properly and without delay.
Cabinet of Ministers has approved the proposal to establish a government-owned company named GovTech Private Limited as an independent institution with the necessary powers, enabling to implement digital transformation projects that have already commenced and are planned for the future without any obstruction. The relevant proposal was tabled by President Anurukumara Dissanayake. Approval was granted at a previous cabinet meeting to liquidate the currently implemented Sri Lanka Information and Communication Technology Agency and to prepare a draft for the establishment of the Digital Economy Authority. In the line with that experience in the implementation of existing digital strategies in Sri Lanka and other countries for establishing an institutional framework to expedite digital transformation in Sri Lanka and for digital economic development have been studied. Accordingly, it has been identified as essential to establish a stable and well-defined institutional structure in order to achieve the expected objectives of digital strategies. Hence, a government-owned independent institution with the necessary powers expected to be established, enabling to implement digital transformation projects that have already commenced and are planned for the future without any obstruction. The requirement of structural access to uplift the local economy to boost the tourism industry and to increase the experience of the tourists in Colombo has been recognized. Accordingly, a project for the development of Colombo Marine Drive has been planned to be implemented from Kolpiti Station to Dehiwala Station, about 7.4 kilometers in length, under the theme of Marine Nights Awakening Colombo. In this project, it is expected to draw more attention towards the area of 400 meters from Golf-Face End to St. Thomas Primary School. Accordingly, the Cabinet of Ministers has approved the proposal presented by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Employment and Tourism to implement the proposed project. The Cabinet of Ministers has approved the proposal presented by the Minister of Trade, Commerce, Food Security and Cooperative Development to establish a limited liability company to develop, expand and manage specialized economic centers. The protection of children from abuse and all forms of violence has been identified as a prime principle in the policy commitment of the framework known as the National Policy Framework, a safe world for children, a creative future for generation. Accordingly, the Cabinet of Ministers has approved the proposal presented by the Minister of Women and Child Affairs to establish a multi-sectoral mechanism with an integrated approach to reduce child abuse incidents. The productivity of dairy farms in Anuradhapura, Polonnaruwa, Kurunegala, Puttalama, Matale, Kandy, Nuwareliya, Gampaha, Ampara, Badulla, Galle and Hambantota with a potential for dairy production is expected to be increased. It has been proposed to implement a project on the improvement of the productivity of the dairy farms and value chain of the dairy products. The relevant proposal was tabled by the Minister of Agriculture, Livestock, Land and Irrigation. It has been recommended recruitments for 15,073 vacant posts in 2 special expenditure units under 18 line ministers and 4 provincial councils, according to the 2 reports furnished by the Officials Committee for the review of the government sector recruitment process and staff management. Accordingly, approval of the Cabinet of Ministers was granted to execute the recruitments recommended by those reports. Approval of the Cabinet of Ministers was granted previously to amend the Online Safety Act. Accordingly, the approval of the Cabinet of Ministers was granted to appoint a committee representing all the relevant sectors chaired by the Supreme Court judge for submitting recommendation to amend the said act, including the already identified revisions and recognized revisions subsequent to the inquiring the public opinion. The Cabinet of Ministers gave their consent to the proposal furnished by the President to establish a special bureau named Revenue Administration, Reformations and Modifications Bureau by adhering to international precise uses for strengthening the state revenue administration mechanism by achieving the current challenges. Parliamentarian of the Samaga Jana Balawegaya Chaminda Vijayasiri says that he is stepping down from the post of electorate organizer of Bandarawala for the welfare of the party and the party supporters. In a media briefing, he added that the reason for this decision has been the resounding defeat of the Samaga Jana Balawegaya in Bandarawala electorate during the past election. Parliamentarian Chaminda Vijayasiri stated that he proposed to step down from the post of Bandarawala electorate organizer after the last general election due to the consecutive defeat in presidential and local government elections. The candidate of the Bandarawala electorate lost from Samaga Jana Balawegaya during the last presidential and local government elections, where he was the organizer. He added that his electorate is defeated from which he was elected to the parliament, and the reason for the defeat is himself. He decided to step down from the post of organizer of the Bandarawala electorate for the welfare of the party man and the party supporters. He pointed out that he had taken exemplary decision for the welfare of the party and also for the benefit of the country.
The Department of Meteorology says that showery weather conditions are to be expected in western Sabaragamuwa provinces and Galle, Mathur, Kandy and Norelia districts as well. This is expected to enhance in the next few days, and this is due to the influence of the active southwest monsoon.
Heavy falls about 100 millimeters are likely to occur at some places in western and Sabaragamuwa province and in Norelia, Kandy, Galle and Mathur districts. Several spells of showers expected to occur in other parts of the country, according to the Met Department. Strong winds of about 40 to 50 kilometers per hour can be expected at times over the western slopes of the Central Hills and in northern, north central and northwestern province and in Hambantota and Trincomalee districts. Showers or thunder showers expected to occur at several places in the sea areas of the coast extending from Puttalam to Hambantota via Colombo and Galle. Wind speed may increase up to 60 to 70 kilometers per hour at times in the sea areas of the coast extending from Chillau to Kankasanturai via Puttalam and Mana and from Galle to Potuville via Hambantota. The sea areas of the coast extending from Chillau to Kankasanturai via Puttalam and Mana and from Galle to Potuville via Hambantota will be rough at times. The Met Department has cautioned naval and fishing communities not to venture into the sea areas until further notice. Mathurata, Gonapitiya, Marigold, Madarmnuwara, Habaragala and Padiyapelle areas in Hamburanketha division are experiencing heavy showers these days. Several trees have fallen onto the main road in Shananwatta area along the Hatton-Colombo main road. Reports have indicated that due to this issue, the vehicle movement along this route has been disrupted. 3 houses have been damaged after a tree had fallen on top of line houses in Vanaraja estate due to the heavy showers in the area. A tusker named Bhatia, which has been roaming in Galgamuwa and Ambalampula area, has been wounded. Although the cause for this injury has not been revealed, the tusker, which is in critical condition, is being treated now. Tusker Bhatia has been located in a critical condition at Vandurasa Timbiriyaya area, Ambangpala, which belongs to the wildlife zone of Mahava. The Nicobaratiya Wildlife Veterinary Unit initiated treatment for the tusker when they found an unusual swelling on one of the forelegs of the elephant. The tusker, having difficulties in its movements, is reported to be roaming in Timbiriyaya and Vandurasa areas these days. Chief of the Veterinary Unit of the Department of Wildlife Veterinary Surgeon Tharak Prasad was present to oversee the treatment given to the tusker yesterday. It has not been confirmed yet that whether the swelling on the leg due to a gunshot injury or due to any other reason. It has also been reported that scanning of the leg is also difficult due to the swelling on the upper part of the leg. Blood samples have been taken from the elephant and forwarded for test. According to the Department of Wildlife, a constant vigil is being kept on the tusker by injecting antibiotics. Steps have also been taken to provide food to it, which is having difficulties in movement. Areas surrounding Galgamuwa and Ambampula are always frequented by tuskers. 9-foot-tall tusker Bhatia is aged around 30 to 35 years. The elephant of Siambalangamua and tuskers such as Tekka, Raja and Sankar were found dead recently due to various reasons. The injured tusker Bhatia also has a pair of beautiful tusks. It is a responsibility of everyone to protect and pay attention to tuskers such as Bhatia at a time tuskers are on the decline.
We'll be back with more news after a short break.
Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Now on to more local stories. 24 houses constructed under the Jim Brown Nagar Model Village project in Manna was handed over to recipients yesterday in the Emir Nagar in Manna. The handing over of ownership was conducted under the leadership of the Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Santosh Jha, and Deputy Minister Stevie Herath. A host of activities were planned and initiated by the Ministry of Urban Development, Construction and Housing with the aim of providing a house with proper sanitation in accordance with the manifesto of the present government. Under this, the project to improve houses and provide them under the former India Aid project is being implemented along with a number of new programs to fulfill the housing needs of people. This model village has been inaugurated as one of the stages of the project. It is also implemented under the assistance of the Government of India and is one of the stages of the housing program implemented under the community contribution of the Indian government. The project will be implemented in 3 stages. 600 houses in the 24 model village will be constructed, covering the district of Jaffna, Mana, Amulathev, Kilanochi and Vaunia under the theme of Grama Shakti, implemented under the Indian Aid program centered on the northern province. An estimated cost of the project is 1,200 million rupees and the Government of India has already provided 831 million rupees so far. In this project, a beneficiary will receive an amount of 500,000 rupees under the Indian Aid, an amount of 100,000 rupees under the funds from Treasury, and the total amount of 300,000 rupees will be granted on non-recovery basis.
Chairman of the Employees Trust Fund Somasiri Ekanayaka says that there has been no salary curtailment of the employees of the trust fund. He emphasized at the press briefing held in Government Information Department that employees have been placed on legal pay scales in accordance with the government circular. Chairman of the Employees Trust Fund Somasiri Ekanayaka said that a certain group of this institution held a protest last Friday regarding a salary curtailment done by the Employees Trust Fund, which was also attended by media. He pointed out that no such salary curtailment has been done and employees have been placed on proper pay scales as per the government circular. He added that the only action has been taken was to place all the salary scales of the employees under a legal basis, and the government is bound to rectify this situation definitely. With the appointment of the new government, steps have been taken to rectify previous mistakes and to implement an orderly policy with a proper standard, which has been now done by the fund. A special mosquito prevention program was implemented recently, focusing 95 medical officers of health division in 15 districts. During this, legal action has been taken regarding 1,470 premises. This year's program has been implemented from 19th to 24th of this month. 199,677 houses, 257 schools and private institutions, construction sites, government institutions, factories, religious places and 128,824 other premises also inspected for mosquitoes. In the process, 31,145 sites where is a possibility of mosquito breeding has been identified, along with 6,077 areas having mosquito larvae. 3,916 red notices were being issued in this regard. Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa has instructed relevant sectors to implement a week-long special mosquito prevention program, taking into consideration the rise in the number of dengue infections with the onset of the southern western monsoon. Accordingly, the program was implemented by the Ministry of Health and Mass Media and the National Dengue Prevention Unit together. Secretary to the Minister of Health Consultant Dr. Anil Jasinghe requested the people to maintain their residence and office surroundings to prevent breeding of mosquitoes and to allocate at least 1 hour per week in order to maintain inspections and cleanliness in their respective areas.
Now for a look at some local items in brief. Welfare Benefit Boards has informed the allowances for the month of May allocated for adults over 70 years in Aswasum beneficiary families will be credited to the banks tomorrow. The allowances will be credited to the relevant bank accounts of 592,766 Aswasum beneficiaries. Accordingly, Welfare Benefits Board has mentioned that the beneficiaries will be able to obtain the allowances. The Commission to investigate the allegations of bribery or corruption has filed an indictment against former Minister Mervyn Silva. The indictment has been filed under the Bribery Act over the charges of acquiring assets. The Assistant Controller of the Department of Immigration and Immigration, Andra Sampath, was ordered to be remanded until May 29th by the Colombo Magistrate Court. He has been charged allegedly issuing 3 forged passports to an organised criminal, Kehel Baddara Padme. The case filed against former Deputy Minister Sarana Gunawardena was taken up for hearing again today in Colombo High Court. He was accused of misappropriating over 12 million rupees allocated by the Chinese company for welfare activities of 35 families displaced in Attanagalla following a launch of a water project. A fire has broken out in an office building in Rajagiri today. According to reports, firefighting vehicles dispatched from Kotte Municipal Council and Colombo Municipal Council have doused the fire. Investigations are underway to identify the cause of the fire. We'll be back with foreign news after a short break. States coast in the Arabian Sea.
The spill occurred in a Liberian-flagged vessel that capsized near Kochi city on Sunday. The coastal stretch is rich in biodiversity and is also an important tourist destination. All 24 crew members on board the ship have been rescued, but some of the ship's 640 containers have reportedly been drifting towards the shore, prompting evacuation in the area. Authorities fear that oil, fuel and other harmful substances that have leaked from the ship and its cargo could endanger the health of residents and marine life. Authorities have advised residents living near the sea to not touch any containers or the oil that might wash up to the shore, while fishermen have been asked to avoid venturing too close to the sunken ship. Officials stated that they had intensified pollution control measures to contain the spill. The Indian Coast Guard had deployed a ship carrying pollution control equipment to the site. The Indian Coast Guard stated that the ship was carrying 13 containers of hazardous cargo and 12 with calcium carbide, a chemical that reacts with seawater to release a flammable gas. The crew members were rescued by the Indian Navy personnel after an hour-long operation.
Now to sports news. Sri Lanka athlete Kalinga Kumarage has qualified for the finals of the 400 meters event in the Asian Athletic Championship held in Gumi, South Korea. Kalinga Kumarage, who participated in the third preliminary round of the 400 meters, was able to come in second, recording a time of 46.59 seconds. Later, he secured the second spot in the second semi-finals with a timing of 45.74 seconds. This has been the best timing recorded in the 400-meter event during this year's championship. The final will be held tomorrow at 2:10 p.m. in Sri Lanka's time.
빠르고요. 자, 3위 경쟁. 이렇게 결승선 통과합니다.
샷도 후가 그리고 스리랑카의 회와 구마라게 선수 1, 2위 나란히 들어옵니다.
Meanwhile, Arun Darshan, who also participated in the 400 meters event, came in sixth, recording a time of 48.10 seconds and was unable to qualify for the final round.
앞쪽으로 열심히 뛰어나가면서 무난하게 1위를 기록하고 있습니다.
Nadisha Ramanayake, participating in the women's preliminary round of the 400 meters event, also qualified for the finals. She became third in the preliminary round with a time of 53.77 seconds. The finals competition, in which Nadisha Ramanayake will be participating, is due to be held on the 29th of this month. Meanwhile, Chamod Yodasinghe has qualified for the semi-finals of the 100-meter event. He participated in the second preliminary round of the 100 meters event and finished in first place, securing with a time of 10.40 seconds. Accordingly, Chamod Yodasinghe qualified for the semi-finals of the championship, due to be held at 1:45 p.m. Sri Lanka's time tomorrow.
요다싱에게
조홀이 요다싱에게.
That's it for tonight's English News Telecast. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Good night.